Welcome to my channel, Grab Bag Crafting. Today we're going to be doing a little crafting with leftover cardboard and kitchen plastic. I always keep the plastic that comes with the wrapping of any, all the things that come into the house. Anyway, today we'll be making one of these hangers to keep your your sticky notes and things in. We'll be making the one on the left. I made the one on the right quite a while ago, but I didn't film it. So I'm going to be doing the one on the left. Only difference between them really is that one has a round bottom and one does not. Okay, we're starting out with the paper. I use a 12 by 12 paper. I think it's Paper Studio paper. I really like their paper. It kind of has this vintage look. And as you can see, I have measured and I need to cut the cardboard down to a size that works with the size of the plastic that I'm using, the size of the plastic container that I'm using. So I've put that band there for effect. That's there so I'll know exactly where I want to place my my sticky notes when I'm ready to put those down. And I think it adds a little interest to the look of the project. I'm kind of looking at it and measuring it. I want to be sure that I have enough paper on each side to wrap the board carefully and successfully. So I see that I have enough room. So basically, now I like to trace my board. I don't. Maybe I didn't do it with this project, but I like to lay the board down, trace it, so I'll know exactly what I'm working with. Yeah, I traced it. Now all I have to do is miter the edges so that they will wrap successfully. And for this project, I did not have spray. I was out of spray and I was out of really good tape. So I had to use two-sided tape. That's not exactly the perfect tape for this project, but it's what I have, so it's what I used. It's clear on both sides, and the best tape has the white covering that you can strip away, and it makes it easier to lay. But anyway, here we are doing the best we can with what we've got. So I'm taping it, and it's covered completely now. So all I have to do is lay my cardboard down and wrap those edges around so it looks neat and clean. And my miters work pretty well. Sometimes my miters are a little iffy, but this time, not so bad. All right, that's done. That's the easy part. So the band is right around the top where I wanted it. I'm taking my big old wallpaper scraper and making sure everything is down. Now this is the bottom that I'm using. I think this bottom came from, I could be wrong, but an Intamin, well, those great coffee cakes. I think this bottom came from that. But the next step for this project is probably one of the harder ones. I want to put cardboard in there to reinforce it. But in order to do that, I have to trace the inside shape of this container. And that means holding it down tightly while I stick the pencil into that curving area. So I hope you can see the shape that I made. Now what I'll have to do is trim it. And when I do these, sometimes they have to be trimmed a couple of times, but we'll see how this works. Sometimes it'll fit right away. Other times you just have to keep trimming it down until it does fit. So yeah, we need to trim. And I'm trimming it down. I might need to trim across the top also. We'll just have to see whether or not it fits cleanly on the first, second, or third try. And it looks like it does. What this will do is give the little tray part of this project a little more support. And yeah, it looks like I might have to trim across the top, but all in all, it's not a bad fit. Yeah, I'm pretty pleased with that. Now, I've already cut the paper part that covers this. So I will attach this, and then I will probably have to trim it around. I'll attach it the same way I did the paper, with tape. And once it's done, yeah, it's cut pretty close to correctly. And so once it's attached, I will probably have to trim it up just a bit. Smooth it down. Yeah, there we go. Trim it up. So we don't want any scrunched paper in our project. So I'll remove this after I trim it one more time. I will remove the scrap and we'll move on to the other part of the project. Oh yeah, got to trim off the excess tape. Okie dokie, we should be ready to move on. Let's embellish. In order to do the embellishment, I found these cute little 1920s clothes, I guess, and they kind of worked with the paper, so I thought, oh, why not? That'll be kind of cute. So we've got little boy's outfit on the right, little girl's outfit on the left, and well, in between, I believe I put some bloomers. Yeah, here they come. A little undershirt and some little bloomers on the bottom. And I'm doing this before I put acetate over it. Now I've saved acetate from, actually I think the acetate I have came when I purchased the mat that I'm working on. So yeah, there's a big chunk of it, yeah. So I'm holding this up to I guess I've used parts of it for other projects, but I do have just enough left to cut this shape for this project. And I'm going around it with a marker. Then all I will have to do is cut it out, make sure it's the exact same shape as the little set in that I just made. What it will do is the acetate on that will make it wipeable, especially if someone keeps it in their kitchen, or it just gives it a little more durability, and it will keep the little sticker embellishments, will keep them in there so they don't peel off. Okay, so let's set it in and look at it, and I think it's going to be okay. Yeah, it's a good fit, and we can move right on to the next step. And the next step is to take my glue gun and make sure that I have the inset in there nice and tight. And the glue gun, of course, is the best thing to do that, because since it makes such big gobs of glue, it really locks it in. So I'm checking the fit again, and yep, it's okay. I will need eventually to glue down the sides and make sure that they're in there nice and tight. Now there were some holes from the opening of the cake box, or whatever it was, but since this paper is so busy, I'm not really going to worry about those, and I'm just making a single one. If, however, I were making one of these, or making a bunch of them for craft shows, I would have to take care of that, or make sure those holes weren't so visible. I'm attaching this dress model thing because I think it adds a little something to the project. Just kind of gives it a little extra embellishment, I think. So, okay. That works. And then beside that is where I will put my sticky notes. And let me see how they look. Okay, yeah. So the sticky notes will line up with that band that I put across the paper. And I think it should work pretty well. So I'm constantly monitoring and checking and rechecking to make sure everything in the project is working together. So I'm going to take this off, and I have taped it down, and I think it's going to be okay. So my next step is to make sure that everything is placed well, and to go ahead and okay, I think the next step should be that I am going to cut out the back. I'm gonna cut out the back for it. Now, I usually, for things that, especially if I'm just making one, I'll use paper that I don't necessarily like as much. And this is fine pink paper. I'm sure someone would just feel that it's very beautiful. It doesn't work very well to me or for me, so I'm just cutting it. And I've cut it about 1/4 of an inch to 3/8 of an inch smaller vertically and horizontally than the size of the project, because once I put it down, I think it looks really nice if the papers, if you can see the other paper. Yeah, there we go. It looks kind of nice that way. And so once it's put down, that will take care of the back, which will be against the wall and nobody will really see it anyway. So it will be taped down. It's taped down, and it's looks pretty neat. All right. Now it's probably time to look at a way to attach our sticky notes. What I have done is made a little strap for the sticky notes, and I have inserted the strap in the very back of the sticky notes. As you can see, it's not very thick. It's just about, I don't know, 3/8 of an inch. But I'm sticking it under the sticky notes, and I'll fold it and I'll attach some glue to it, and then I will put it down. And I'm leaving it a little loose, so whenever this batch of sticky notes is gone, it'll be easy to attach another batch, and so you don't have to throw away the whole board because the sticky notes are glued to it or something. So we want to get it kind of neat, and I started out with E6000 and I tried to attach it with that, but it didn't really work very well, so I had to go back and do it with the glue gun, which is the powerhouse of all paper craft and so many other crafts. But eventually it did stick. So yeah, and as we can see, I got my finger right there in the glue. But I've been known to walk around with gluey fingers. Elmer's glue, E6000, whatever. Anyway, I've put it down. I'm pleased with the way it looks, so we will move on to the next step, reattaching our bottom shelf. Now the bottom shelf, actually, it's a pretty strong little shelf since it's plastic, so you can put other notes in there, just things you want to keep, coupons, whatever you come across that you find, and you can just put it in there. And or the sticky notes, if you write something down on the sticky notes that you want to keep, just drop it in that little tray, and that's what it's there for. So I'm going to glue down the sides to make sure that it's nice and stable, and then I am going to attach some brads, because I think the metal on the brads makes it look a little stronger and gives a little more strength to the shelf. Now when I attach the brads, I sometimes need a little help of the X-Acto knife, because my owl, whatever you call these things, I don't know how to pronounce it. Anyway, it makes a nice hole, but the hole generally isn't big enough for the brad. So I have to employ the craft knife, the X-Acto knife, and then stick that baby in. And yeah, sometimes you have to go back twice, So, but eventually they do go in. There we go. One down, one more to go. I probably should have put one in the middle too, but I didn't think about that. So we just kind of have to hope that it works just fine in spite of that. All right, second brad goes in. We will open them up on the back. And I'm not going to cover the brads because, like I said before, this will be on the back. It will be hanging on the wall. And so that's kind of how that goes. This is the newly applied and glue gunned strap. And now we can, with confidence, hang our sticky notes on there. And now I'm going to put the brads at the top. Now the brads at the top will hold the twine in order to hang this. And I'll show you how I do this, because once I put them both in, I can attach the twine to the back. Okay, they're in now, and the sticky notes are in, hanging confidently on their new strap. And so we have brads at the top and brads at the bottom. And now really that's pretty much done. Oh, our pencil holder. Can't do much writing if you don't have the pencil. But basically all I did was cut out a nice little rectangle, and in a minute I'll show you. Just pencil holder is pretty simple. Just wrap that little rectangle around a pencil and get it, pencil size, and glue it down, and you've got your pencil holder. So that's pretty much all I did there, just so you can see. And I just glued it right over the sticky notes so the pencil would fit. There we go. So that's our project. All we have to do really now is turn it over and apply the twine by which it will hang. I'm going to wrap the twine around the brads, and that makes it secure, because if I wrap it around once or twice, then it's going to stay. And since it's not a heavy project, so it's not a lot of stress on them. So I'm coming up and I'm going around, and then I'll come back up around the brad, and I'll go up and I'll tie a nice little bow at the top once I decide how low or how high I want it to hang. So I'll make a bow. Sometimes my bows are pretty, and sometimes my bows look really kind of not quite pretty. But anyway, this one came out pretty well. I'm going to trim it up. And really, that's the project. It's an easy little project to do. It uses up what would be kitchen waste, and it just kind of keeps it from going into the dump, gives it another little chance at life. The only difference between this one and the one I showed at the beginning, which I will show again, is the shape of the container, of the plastic container that I used. And so if you decide to do a project like this, just take note, just keep, whatever comes in your, whatever you get, just keep it, work with the shape of the container, and enjoy. I hope you'll come back and craft with me again. Thank you.